I can see, and that's education and freedom for we the people. There are a ton of people out there that have no concept. They don't believe this is real, and they don't want people bothering them about it. Well, I'm going to ask you to go bother them anyway. That's part of what this called. It's called audience participation. You get to ask these people if they would like to vote on these things. That's education and freedom. You need to learn how to do that anyway, because you're going to have 24/7 voting. We're going to get rid of some people and put some decent people in. Yes, you can find some people. They may not be the brightest light bulb in the world, but if they're so honest that they squeak when they walk or talk, I think maybe they might make a good candidate. And you can always give them an advisor, somebody who can explain things to them, how it works, and help them read stuff that's got too big of words. And eventually you got some called an honest government. And coming to government, that's the next point. Government. There's going to be very little of the Fed left. Why do I say that? Well, the Fed primarily is in control, supposedly, of everything. Well, they'd like to think they are, but according to certain people that are probably on this show tonight, listening, that ain't quite how it is. What are you going to need if the IRS disappears? Whew, got a bunch of people that ain't going to be sucking up a government paycheck. What are you going to do when things are altered so that people can eat? What are you going to do when there is no tax base to run the federal government, pretty much? You're not going to need much in the way of the Fed. Now, within this stuff, I've mentioned freedom. Now, returning to the original founding documents is part of the premise for this. 1787 Constitution, including the 13th original amendment, the Articles of Confederation, Bill of Rights, and, of course, that cute little document, Declaration of Independence, that screwed it all up to begin with. Then you got the factor that states regain control. We, the people, run the states. The states have the right to decide the limitations of the federal government, not the other way around as everybody has been programmed, brainwashed to believe. How does that work? Well, then you got institutional reform. You think the educational system teaches the kids how to go out and get a job or gives them any kind of job experience? I tell you no, flat out. A lot of high school kids can't read. I mean, I was amazed. So maybe we could alter the educational system so that by the time you finish 2 years of high school, you've completed high school. And the following 2 years could be a technical degree for an area that you like anyway. I want you to think about that. You, within the general education time limit, have created an employable individual. They have sufficient knowledge, and technical college, if anybody has not been, you get a certain amount of books, and you get a certain amount of hands-on. You have to learn how to be able to build things. You have to learn how to be able to figure out what's going on with a computer when it don't work right. You have to know the fundamentals of electrical engineering, basically, in the part that I took. It's called an applied science of electrical engineering degree. You learn these things. Okay. Fun and games, but you come out an employable individual. You have a combination of hands-on and simple knowledge that can be applied to about anything. Okay. Now, every employer, no matter what field you're in, and it don't matter what degree you get, they're going to bring you in, they're going to say, okay, here's how our system works. And they'll teach you how they want it to be. And you do it their way, and everything's fine. No problem. So, education. It's just an example. There are a whole bunch of institutionalized things out there that need to be changed drastically. Okay. Here's the choice. Would people like to keep the banks open to eliminate the problems that it was caused if they were closed? Would people like to be able to understand that the government cannot print any more money because they're not allowed to? Interesting things to consider, yes? Absolutely. Then you go back to this other part where the banks have been stating that they know they got a problem. They got their goodies in a ringer, and they got a guy that is like a pit bull that's going to crank their whatever's right through the ringer if they don't give it up. Well, I've been bothering people for a while, and I kind of come across a guy that is close to a friend of mine by the name of Neil Keenan. Now, this is the icing on the cake. This dude's independent, but he follows Keenan around a bit. Keenan knows him. And by accident, he got what's called a hot tip. And this is basically the way it is. Everybody knows about the liens filed against the federal central banking system that we have. And those liens didn't seem to carry an extraordinary amount of weight. The judge didn't know if he had jurisdiction over that sort of thing. And so the whole mess was up in the air. Well, those things have been thought about. And this was in a casual conversation that went on that this guy witnessed. Thinking, this is Keenan, this is Neil Keenan, he's thinking of withdrawing the suit and refiling it. However, this time it's a little different. He will have the countries of Asia, all of Asia, the societies, both secret and not, and the families that control the collateral accounts filing with him. In other words, you got 15 countries going, I don't think so. Do add a little bit more weight to this. Now, I want everybody to think about this real close. I'm going to go back through these one at a time. Number one, the reality needs to be faced. You got a choice, all out war or not, which nobody really wins, and you're going to have two-thirds dead or wounded on both sides. Think about, missing two of your neighbors, and it could be you. Number two, there are three principles involved. One is we the people. Another one is the collateral accounts and all that goes with those, and bankers and financiers. These are the three principles in this conglomeration that has been foisted on us through no fault of our own. So, we want changes from what we have now to what we should have always had, is what I get from everybody that's been talking to me. From what I get out of the chat room, people are tired of waiting. Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to quit waiting here in a minute. The reality of all this has been expressed to me. I have conversations with several people of international importance, Neil Keenan being one of them, as to what's going on and the basic way it could best be addressed. Now, remember, brand it somewhere, put it right on the wall, make the wife mad, yeah, paint the wall. The banks and bankers are looking to surrender. They are done. The standing that they have had is gone. It's been taken away from them. Now, there's nothing in writing. And if banks and bankers or anyone affiliated with high finance is listening to this, and I would imagine at least I hope they are, they might want to consider the proposals that I've made and maybe put some in writing. Send it to the person you need to send it to. You know who that is, and you know where that person's at. Now, to the military. Think about a peaceful settlement. Now, right now, we got exercises going on like crazy where they're practicing to take out neighborhoods, extract people from houses, and take care of the problems of people that have been frustrated. I'm thinking about using the shotgun on the first uniform they see. I'm going to tell you no. First of all, both military and civilian, no. Quit it. You don't got to do that if this proposal is acceptable. What do you want? What would you be willing to accept? Now, these are only part of it, but they cover most of everything. Financial freedom, jobs, constitutional reforms back to our original founding documents. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get much better than that. NESARA is real. The act is required to come up once per year. It equals financial freedom in a very literal manner for each and every one of us. Also, release of all advanced technology. Now, there's some 800 patents and technology that has been hidden away so that we won't get a hold of it and not have to use oil anymore. Okay? The collateral accounts would be used to set up the manufacture and installation as well as see to our infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, you're down to about 5% unemployment, if that. You want to have a livable wage? Think about working on a bridge. Okay? If you're in finance, how about help us straighten this out? If you know what's going on, we're going to need a load of CPAs just to figure out what happened with the IRS. Let alone all, look at the records. There's piles and piles of this stuff. This is an open proposal to both the people, the military, and the bankers. The military can stand down, not worry about it. We're not looking at war. I don't think anybody likes that idea anyway, but I'm going to suggest don't do that. When you've got the situation that I've described, you return to the original founding documents. That pretty much covers everything that I can think of, including to the fact that you don't have to worry about the banks not being there. They will stay open. You don't have to worry about the boogeyman wanting to come get you in the middle of the night because he ain't going to be interested. And what I'm going to do is try to set up, through my friend Lady Dragon, a place where everybody can go and things will be listed that I've mentioned. And you have a yes or no vote. I'm going to tell you right now, forget worrying about your privacy. You never had any anyway. That was gone some 10, 15, 20 years ago. They own everything, control everything, and are understanding of everything in terms of how it all works. They also sold to the government several hundred acres of mainframe computers, which all these signals go through anyway. So if they really want to listen or know who you are, they can find you. So forget that stuff. The only way, and I mean the only way, to get out of that is go live in a cave. Have no contact with anybody, and use a bow and arrow so you don't make noises when you have to shoot some game to eat something. Other than that, living in a cave or under a rock somewhere, forget it. You can be found. They already probably know everybody on here anyway. However, my suggestion, and my strong suggestion, is this. The idea behind this came from some of the people I've talked to over the past few days, and actually about a week altogether. They expressed an interest to know what the people really wanted, what they would be willing to start out with, and maybe work from there. And whether or not there could be some sort of reasonable transition from what we got now to what everybody's been looking for. Financial freedom, jobs, true freedom. You're talking founding documents. This proposal is open. And it's open to the banks, military, people, and the principals involved in all this. The page will be set up in such a manner that we'll record yes and no votes. If this is acceptable, yes. If you got some kind of a better idea, then we'll entertain that at a later date. This proposal is a now kind of thing. I just put it together this afternoon. After having a couple of long conversations both today and yesterday with people who are rather highly placed in terms of their considered importance by varying different entities. We the people, financiers, some of these famous banking families that you know. So my proposal is that we vote on this. The proposal is very simple. Lady Dragon and I will provide a website link where you can go and vote on this.